Oh. I assume you guys are back by now. I don't know how long it takes to fire it up. Can't be too long. Pancakes win. You know, it'd be really weird to have you call me Tav in real life. No one's done that yet. Alright. So Arabian. Now I have to kind of work out exactly how this works, because I don't remember. Who calls you Evo in the real world? Like at work? Because your name is not even similar. So check takes. Doesn't lead to anything. Check takes. But we need the knight because it's an Arabian mate, right? So we don't want to sack that to open anything. Ah, that's interesting. Yeah, I never considered that. Yeah, fair enough. What are the rules in this puzzle? So it's basically, it's the same concept as before, but instead of trapping against the wall here, we're trying to trap in the corner. So we push the king here and trap him with these pieces, theoretically. That's the idea anyway. After Arabian, are you going to do random puzzles? I might, depending on how I'm feeling. 100 puzzles takes quite a while. But I'll probably get back to chess.com to do that. So let's think. We got this check, which is just taken, which I can then take back, but that doesn't really lead to anything. This check is taken. It's taken with the knight. So check, knight takes, check. King is forced over. This pawn doesn't exist anymore because we sacked the queen for it. So then this rook can take. So the knight here covers these squares. There's a piece here because his knight moves up. And then this attacks down that file. So we can't take with the king because the knight here is guarding. Just trying to disprove myself, not seeing anything. It's also a nice fork. Mate, he blocks and we take, but it's guarded by the knight. Yes. So check, check, check. If check, pawn goes there, which means knight can come to this square. So check, knight takes, king can't take because the knight is covering. Why did he do what he just did? Hang on. So I took there, theoretically, in the game. I took there. He takes this. I guess just not seeing the threat up here. Because he really wants to like push through this way. Anyway, so it's queen sack there. A knight forces him back. He can't move onto this file because of the rook. And then rook up to there. There's that g8. It's mate. So he can't come back to this square because rook still guards. So we got check there. If we did that, he would block with... What would he block with? I mean, that's still a shitty position for him because I've discovered check here. So we've got this check. That's the only one we've got at the moment. I guess queen back as well. Yeah, so maybe queen back, rook there. We take the rook, he takes with the bishop. This rook comes down. That's Arabian's mate. Arabian mate, I need to remember the name. So queen blocks with the bishop, which doesn't make a difference. Let's check, and he has to take with the rook. We come down anyway. So we've got check and check and check. Can't go there because there's a rook in the way. If check, rook comes down. That check is just taken by the queen. If I do that first, it's just taken by the... Wait. If I do that, he can't take with the rook because that's mate. So that check, he goes there. That check, he takes, and then rook comes down. Yeah. So it's important to see what they can and can't do, because there's an earlier mate. I think it's the first time I've come across that in these puzzles, today at least. So that doesn't work because queen here is immediately mate. So he has to find another option. And there are other options, this, which ultimately leads to mate anyway. Black to move. Check. Forces him into the corner. So check, he has to go to the corner. Can't come back and he can't take because of the knight. So he goes back. And then I can threaten mate, but I don't have another immediate check, do I? Can't check with the rook because he just takes. Check king there. If I do that, what does he do? He doesn't have mate. He can probably sack there, bring this down, which I'll then have to... I can go there and I can still escape. So I think that's probably it. I guess I could do that first, right? But that gives him no counterplay. If I check with that, that's mate. So both would have worked, but one is obviously better than the other because it's way more forcing, and he has no counterplay. So check, can't go here. Can't take, too far away, obviously. Yeah. Making it more complicated than it had to be. Check, king takes, check. Doesn't work, does it? Check, rook comes over. And that just ends up 2 rooks for 1, which is not good. So these are the only checks I've got. If that doesn't work, it has to be that. So if that, king takes. And then what? If that rook comes up, he can come here. Meaning I lose a piece, which doesn't work. If I do that, what are his options? So takes, check. Go here or here. He can't enter this rank because of the rook, this file. If there, I can threaten this, but that's Anastasia's, mate. Not Arabian. I guess I can just go here and threaten that. If I do that, what does he do? If I do that, he goes there. But then that's mate. Yeah. So he's guarding that square, but now I can just do this. Because now the knight covers that square. Guards one threat, but you can't guard both. Check. Can't go there. Can't be there. Can't go there. So king there. That's kind of weird. I guess that's guarded. So check, king there. He can't take that. So check, king there. Check. Guarded by the knight. Does that count as Arabians? So if I do that, I guess he can still escape to there. I don't know if it's a hard rule that he has to be in the corner when you checkmate him or not. I mean, I guess it must be, right? Because if it's on the side, yeah. So he has to be in the corner. I could also just move the knight out of the way because this is discovered. So if there, he can't escape to that square. He can't go there. If I go there, he can't go there either. So he has to block, and then the rook comes up and takes. Yeah. Okay. Kind of reverse engineer it. This square was the problem because he can escape to there, which leads to some kind of escape up here. So how do we prevent the king from moving to there? Knight back. Ow. He's not in the corner. He's not even close to the corner. This is obviously a big problem. We got mate in a few moves there. What do I have? I have this. Not a check. That's the only check I've got. So king can't come here because he would be too close. He can't enter this file because of the rook. So check forces him to there because he still can't enter the file. So if he's there, this is now a check, which forces him to there. So it's check, king up, and then what? Going there doesn't work because he just escapes. How do I hit him again? Yeah, his only option is that. So this is forced so far. If he's there, then the rook can come up and check him there, because it's guarded by the knight now. If I were to do that, he can't come back because of the bishop, so he's forced into the corner. So check, king up, check, king there. Now how do we force Arabians here? What can my knight do? So the knight is covering that. So if I do anything with the knight, he could just take. I think it has to be a check, otherwise this discovery will win him this rook. No, it won't. It's on this one. Yeah, it'll be a big problem. Check, king up, check, king up. Check, king in the corner. How to continue. I need the rook. I need the knight on that square. So what if check, king up, check, king up? I think that's more accurate. King's there. The knight is behind the rook. Then if I hit that check, he could come back, I guess. I feel like I have to play it out and just get a bit closer. It has to be these two. He can't come back because the bishop's covering. Once I move the rook. But that's what I was saying. So if I check here, well, that leads to mate if he comes back. So if I check, he comes back. No, it doesn't because he can come up. I feel like it has to be that. Because that leads to this. But how do I prevent? So if I do that, he can't come here. He can go, still go either direction. If he goes there with a knight there. That does lead to mate. So if check and he comes back, I just pull this rook out of the way. This discovery hits these squares, the knight hits this, and the rook covers this. So that would be mate. So if check and he goes back, then that's mate. And the queen has no way to get in the way. Yeah, and he goes up because It's mate in 2 regardless. So that was rated 2200 and it felt like it. That was good. Should learn to play again? Should. The Queen's Gambit got me interested in it. That was a pretty good show. Now I'm quite immersed in the chess scene, I guess. That was a good puzzle. That was pretty rough. So we've got check, we've got check, we've got check, we've got check. Okay. I'm sure if he's a titled player, he would still play. I think once you commit to that level, you're not gonna sort of back off. I'd be surprised anyway. So I can't check with the bishop because the rook on a1 will take. Just results in a free bishop. So if we assume this, what happens? He takes. How do I follow up? Yeah, he told me. Yeah, I get it. So this doesn't really work because if king down, this check doesn't work because of the knight. Doing this sacks the knight, which would lead to mate in 2, but he has time for counterplay, so that probably doesn't work. No, it wouldn't because of the knight. But because it's Arabians, we obviously don't want to sack the knight. So this check, I'm going to definitely take. I don't see a way to proceed there. King's there, this is no longer check. This check doesn't work because he would take. This check doesn't work because he takes, and if we take back, we just lose. What else is there? If check, king comes out. This is guarded, this isn't. That doesn't really seem to work. Because if I check him there, he can just take the bishop. And then if I move the knight, he can take the rook, so that doesn't work. This feels like a 2200 puzzle. So if I go there, it's not forced, so he takes that check. Doesn't work because this no longer covers. Check, king there. If he's there, the only check I have is this rook, so that doesn't really work. So I'm thinking these 2 squares. Well, ideally you need the knight to be on this square, right? Which means this rook can't be there. But then if I put that there, that still doesn't threaten mate in 1 or even 2. So these pieces prevent this rook from delivering. I guess going there threatens this. If I go there, he takes. What if that? Check, takes, take. What's up, Serge? Yeah, I didn't think so either, but here we are. We've changed a lot in the last year or 2. I don't care so much about this anymore. So check takes. That isn't a check, so it's not forcing, right? Gets this out of the way, which... So check takes. I go there. What does he do? Because after that, let's say he just goes here. That's a check. That's a check which forces him into the corner, which will end up mating even though he has 2 rooks. So what does he do for counterplay? Because this threatens Arabian's mate. But there's one move where he has time for counterplay. He also doesn't have to take. What if he doesn't take? He goes there. Yeah, what if he doesn't take? Well, I'll greet you when I know what your name really is. Does that check? Does that check? That just brings that down. That check forces that. Does it? Let's assume he takes. Then there's this check, which he can block or it can move. If he blocks, it doesn't work because the other rook comes up. So if he moves, I feel like that must be it. Let me just try and actually visualize the whole line here. The check takes, check. If he comes here, check. Or I guess we'll just take that way. He would go up, check, he would come down, and then that would be mate. So check, takes, check. He goes up. Goes up. Then I guess it's just knight over. What does he do if knight over? This doesn't matter if he takes this rook because this one can deliver mate on its own. What if he doesn't take it? So check, and he just moves. If he moves, it's mate even sooner, so he has to take. So check takes. Has to be checked with this. King goes back. This threatens mate in 1. It's not forced, but if I take this with check, he takes back. When this knight comes up, he can just take this rook. So the best bet here is to threaten mate in 1. Or check takes, check. King is forced to go back because he can't come here. And then we take up here. There it is. Plus 14. Fuck me. Hey, Cube. Pretty good. That was rated 2600. No wonder it was so rough. You got that though. Hang on. Okay. Just responding to a DM real quick. So we're black. What do we got? Check. Check. I gotta push him into a corner. Are we going this way? It's quite a journey to push him that way. So currently he can't go here. If I hit him with that check, he can go there, which is not good. Hit him with that check. There's a lot of options if I do that. That's really the only 2 I've got, right? This and this. There's no knight checks. There's no bishop because he's on a light square. King obviously can't check. So let's start with this. If this, what? Can't be here. Can't be there. Can't be there. Can't be there. So he's forced into either of these. If he goes there, he goes, okay, so check, he goes there, check again. Forces him back out here, right? Check there, check. Guarded by the bishop. Can't be there, can't be here. So he's forced back out here. I don't really know how to keep forcing him into the corner if I did do that, though. He's still on a light square, so the bishop doesn't really have much say. If the rook comes back, he just goes back in and repeats and gets a draw. So if I do this, can't be there, can't be here. He can still go into that corner, into this area. I need to find a mate for this so that I can rule it out. So if check and he goes there, what? That doesn't work because he just takes. I mean, I could threaten. Oh no, that doesn't work. I'm gonna stream for a while. Probably another hour or so. So I did 100 Anastasia's mates, which were a lot easier, and that took an hour and a half. I was going to do 100 of these, but they're a lot harder, so maybe less, but probably at least another hour. So check king there, then what? I don't really have a counter for that at the moment. Doesn't tell you how many moves to your mate. No, doesn't tell you. You're just given the board, you got to work it out. The puzzles I'm doing are all themed around Arabian mate, so I know the idea is to get a king into a corner and mate him with a knight and a rook. It's a type of checkmating puzzle, yeah. So Anastasia's mate is a checkmate with a rook and a knight on the enemy king on the side of the board, which is what I did an hour ago. What I'm doing now is Arabian mate, which is a checkmate on the enemy king with the rook and the knight in the corner of the board. So we've got to find out how to get the king down there. And the point is I'm trying to build up some pattern recognition when I come across these mates in games. So just mental training, really. Yeah, so check king there really screws me, doesn't it? Check king there. And then what? Obviously have that, but he can just come back. Hang on. So check king there. Check guarding the rook and hitting him. So that's mate. Check, he goes there. Check. I don't know what he does. He probably hits me with a check. He would hit me with a check. Then I'd have to move the king. He would sack the rook for the knight. So it'd save the game, but he'd be down an exchange and a piece. So we would win anyway. So that's a winning endgame, no problem. Check. What was it there? I forget which one I'm doing. Check there, check. What is mate anyway? What am I talking about? It's already mate because the rook's already moved. I was thinking I had to bring the rook back, but no. Check, king there, check. Ooh. Checkmate. Knight guards these squares, guards the rook. Rook guards these squares, so we can't escape. So that debunks that. So if we assume this move, and we say he can't go there because that leads to mate. Mate in 2. Mate in 1, really. He has to get off this file. He can't come close to the king. So he's forced to this square. So check, he has to go here. Then we have this, check. He still can't enter this file, so he has to go there, and then rook here is mate. Can't block with the knight, with the rook. So it's check, king there, check, king there, check, king here, check. Yeah. Nice. That was only 1800. I still fail 1500 puzzles sometimes. It'd just be difficult. Check takes. They're threatening Arabian in 1. Plus 14 to plus 1, yeah. It's obviously in a range. If the last one was 2200 and then that one was 1800 or whatever. So check is forcing. Because if he goes there, which is the only other option, that's mate. So check is forced. Response, take with the pawn. Then this obviously can't happen, would be met with that anyway. So check takes. How do I make it more forcing? Check takes, check, king comes down, check. King is forced back into the corner and then rook up is mate. Yeah. So sacking the queen makes the whole sequence forcing because he has to, it's an absolute threat, he has to respond to it, a check immediately. Whereas if I didn't sack the queen, he could have had a move for counterplay, which would have been mate. So there you go. Yep, we got that one. So check has to be taken with the bishop. Check. Can't be blocked, can't be taken. King goes up and then rook up is mate. Nice. It's up 5. Yeah. Something a bit different. So check. King there. That doesn't work. So this queen is in the way. We need the knight on that square. That can be taken 3 ways. And if it's taken by the queen, it deletes this threat. So that's not an option. This is taken with that, which also removes this threat. So instead of taking anything, we just sack the queen. Ever got over 1200 on the puzzles, you mean? 2100, sorry. Too hasty and just YOLO shit. Yeah, I did a lot of that. I played a lot of Blitz when I first started as well, like 5-minute games. But to improve, you really need to slow stuff down. And if my goal is to improve, we slow it down. I know it still shows up in the thumbnail, but it's not as big. So I figure, yeah, maybe people can look away or maybe they won't notice. Can't really do much else. I don't know how to set a thumbnail for a live stream. I don't really care enough to solve that problem. So if check, what? Check and he takes there, that check means he can come up. So that's not good. So instead, check there, where he has to take with the rook because the knight is guarding. So check, rook takes, check, he's forced up there, and then the rook hits him on the back rank. He blocks, and then the rook takes, guarded by the knight. So check, check, check. Oh, he blocks with that too. It's irrelevant. Smash our way through. So we got this check, he takes. That does work. Check, takes, check. King can't come here because the pawn's guiding, so king's forced up. This file is open for the rook. This rook blocks, we take, which is guarded by the knight, and then that's Arabian. Check. Check. Yeah. Not missing anything. What's the goal here? Check. No. Check. No. Ah, check, he'll take. So check takes. That's not check, and he just takes back, so that doesn't work. So check takes with the king. This is a weird one. I mean, this threatens... Yeah, this threatens it, but is it forced? Yeah, I've looked at Chessable a bit. Most of my time is spent on chess.com, and they have a learning section where there's heaps of stuff, basically the same as Chessable. Heaps of courses you can do by all kinds of titled players. So there's Chessable. Lichess apparently is really good for isolating weaknesses in puzzles. What was the other one? There's some kind of chess tactics trainer, and there's also a blindfold trainer, so there's plenty of good resources out there. So this check doesn't work, because if check, he has to take, it's the only option, and then this check, he takes the rook. This check runs into that. Fair enough, yeah. I've got a diamond subscription at the moment, which is like $120 a year or something. But yeah, you can get... I guess Lichess is better in that regard, because although you get unlimited puzzles for free, whereas you need a subscription on chess. Pay to win, I know. So what if this? Check, his only option is take. If he takes... I don't really have a follow-up. Check takes, check takes. Check takes, if I come here, he just takes again. Ah, so what if we remove the knight? What does that do for us? Does that work? He takes there. This threatens mate, but it's not mate. So I don't think that works either, actually. Huh. Are we really just threatening it? I don't see a forcing way. Pay to win in chess. People hack in chess, cheat. Can't get away from it. So this threatens a forced mate, but it's not forced, right? Well done. There's really two options, right? Two forcing options. Check doesn't work because this just doesn't work. This doesn't work because he just takes. So I feel like my only option here is to threaten Arabian. So if I go here, what does he do? He has no checks. He can't take any of my pieces. He can move the knight, but it doesn't defend anyway. Rook across guards this. I see. Knight takes. Still Arabian. Never mind, you're dumb. You really have to prove yourself wrong. If you think you find the solution, you have to prove it wrong. You have to look for their counterplay. Gets me all the time. So everything here has to be a check, because this leads to back rank. If check, what? Go here or here. It's also this. I feel like this is more forcing. It's also more dangerous because of back rank, so everything has to be a check if we bring him up. Check, and he goes there. He's met with what? I guess this, which forces him to there, and then that would be mate. Okay, so check, there, check. Can't go back, he's forced there, so that's mate. So if he goes to the left, it's mate. So take, and he goes right. Check, then what? Can't go there, obviously, so he's forced there. Check there, check there. Yeah, then we take, the queen comes up and we take. That's Arabian. They're varying in difficulty 5. So if you look up the top left, up here. So this puzzle, you can't see the rating until you complete it, but this one was 1800. So we've had a couple above 2000, and you can definitely tell when you're doing them, but it sort of varies a lot. It's how, even if you're just doing random puzzles, it varies. It's in a range. I think my range is like 1700 to 2500. Sometimes forget the enemy can take your pieces and not always retreat. Yep. Alright, so check takes... Well, that's not good because this... Okay, I see the threat here. So this check forces the king over. Because if check and he takes, this is mate. So check, king over, check, he takes, check, guarded by the rook is still mate, but it takes longer to get there. So better for him, theoretically. Check, he has to move, sack the queen, and then rook up. No mistakes. What? Check, king there. Check, king there, check. No, that doesn't work. Why would you do this? That rook being on that square, what was that, g8? Was the only thing holding his position together. This is stupid. So check, king has to go up, he can't take. But what if I take? Ah, I take, he can't take back because the bishop's pinned. So I take that. Or I could even just check him right now. His bishop's pinned. So check, king up. Take, bishop takes, rook over. Was it that or was it that? I forgot. Was that? That's not as forcing, and then he would take the knight. Which would still lead to mate, but not as forcing, so. Always have to find the forcing option. There's a nice fork right there. Although that's guarded, but you win the exchange. So if that, king has to go there, right? Is that not just mate in two? King can't come here, king's forced there, rook up. How do you prevent that? Am I stupid? No. That was a 1700, but it shouldn't have been. That's for sure. Check, rook over, check. I mean, I guess that's fine. Kind of weird to leave that there. Relied on you taking the rook and not seeing the mate, yeah. I run into that all the time. Because you're just so eager to take that material. Yep. Someone hung their queen intentionally yesterday, and when I took it, bishop across the board, mate. So I think this has to start with the queen stack, right? So check there. Opens this up, which forks that. So check, rook over, check. If I do that, king can go either way. If he goes that way, he loses the rook. So... I mean, I guess he loses it anyway because I'm hitting it twice. Typical Eric Rosen, yet. Oh no, my queen! There's also this, check. So if check, he takes, check, king over, check. I feel like that leads to mate if he takes, right? I just find it so weird that he didn't respond to this. He took that. So two options. Let's just rule this out. I mean, there's no point because we're not sacking the knight. Although I guess we can rule it out anyway because you have to do something else, right? So check if takes, check, king there, and then check is mate. So he can't take. So check if he goes there, check, takes, check. Is mate, but it takes one more turn. So check, takes, check, and then what? That's not as forcing, I don't think. Sure, king there leads to mate, but after this, king there, there's no mate threat. This check is just taken. Although I guess I can take that with check, but that doesn't lead to mate either. You can always rule out sacking the rook and the knight. Yeah, but you have to take into consideration what their move will be, because this technically sacks it, but it gives you checkmate in 2 if he takes it. So the best move for him is not to take that, and it would be to instead take the rook, I guess. So if I did that, we can't. So if I did that, he would go there. And then what? I guess I would take, he would take. There's no... Hang on, he can't go there because of the queen. What am I... I feel like I skipped over that in all my previous calculations. If I do that, he can only go there. Yeah, exactly. So they may see the mate in 2 and be like, okay, I'm not doing that. And then the forcing nature of the line leads them into the Arabian. So this check, he can't go there because this queen guards. So I'm an idiot. So check, he goes there. Check. And that's Arabian because he's forced to take. King there, check. He's forced to take. Which Arabian guarded by the knight. So if I do that again, check, he takes. Ah. Check, he takes, that's mate. I don't know why I was doing all this, but if he takes, that's mate in 1. So if I take and he goes there, it's mate in 2. So odds are he would rather do that, right? I definitely made that a lot harder than it had to be by not acknowledging the power of the queen right there. I need to get my throat used to talking so much again. I feel like seeing this pattern. There. Can't come up. Can't come forward. He's forced there, and then this rook is mate. That's an easy one. Gotta get rid of that song. Yeah. It's because my brain is looking only at the Arabian and ignoring everything else, I guess. The downside of doing focus training. Or the downside of being an idiot, I guess. It's white to move. Check. I mean, that is a very nice move. It's always very incredibly satisfying. Lock the king and the queen together. Is it the right move though? So this doesn't work because if he takes, this threat is more or less eliminated. Like sure he can sack, but I don't have anywhere to go from there. So check, king can't come here. King can't enter this line at all. So I think that's just mate in 2. Check, king up. Check. So you often get these little tricks with puzzles where if you're just doing random puzzles, the idea is to find the best move in the position, right? So you play this and you immediately think, oh, fuck yeah. We're taking his queen, baby. We get a queen for a knight. You know, we take that, he takes back. Awesome. And then you completely skip the mate in 1 right here. Exactly. Quite often there'll be a position where it loads up and you look at it and you think, isn't that a free rook? Isn't that a free queen? But in this case, no. That's not the point. Still catch me sometimes, but not today. So check, rook has to take. Check, rook blocks, take. Queen. Ah. See, and that's why you prove yourself wrong. I was about to just start firing away. So if I take there, he takes. With check, I go here expecting this, but instead he sacks his queen. But he saves the game, right? So he would be way up in material should that occur. So I guess check there and just take. Has less moves and it doesn't fucking throw. So I found mate in 4 if the queen didn't exist when there was mate in 2 on the board. Always got to look for better. Check there, mate. Don't see any counterplay. Yeah. Black to move. Yeah, he can go there. So that forces that, which is not good. Check brings that up. So check has to be taken with the rook because this rook guards that square. So check, forced to take, check, he blocks, check, and that's the mate. Prove yourself wrong, idiot. I didn't even see this bishop. I knew there was 2 here, but I didn't consider that. So this. I was just talking about how important it is to do that. So I took note that we had 2 on the bottom. So maybe that's why I didn't worry about looking for counterplay there. Or maybe I just didn't fucking see it. I don't know the answer to that one. So we got check. Opening this. If check, king has to go there. So check, king has to go there because he can't go to this square. I haven't listened to this playlist before and there's some fucking bizarre stuff on here. One's good. So check, king has to go there. If check, then what? You just escape. And then there is follow-up, but it's not very nice. Check there. I think it has to start with that, right? Check there. Check forces him over. Knight can come back with check. And then if he goes there, rook there is mate. That's obviously not the Arabian. So check king there. Check king there. Huh. What else is there? There's this, which doesn't work at all. So these are the only 2 checks I've got. So it has to be that. And if I do that, he can just go back. Although that leads to Anastasia's mate in 1. Okay, so if we go back now and we assume he goes there, because he can't go there and he can't be there, then this blocks takes. This bishop cannot help. So it's mate either way. I was going to do knight first, wasn't I? Yeah, because I want to block off this escape square. So it goes to the corner. And we get it. So check. Takes. Yeah, that's not going to work. So he doesn't have immediate mate, but he could start checking me pretty quickly. And that leads to mate very quickly. So I don't really want to just do a threatening move, because that threatens mate in 1. How do I make it more forceful? Check, king there, check. King can go there and escape. He can come here if I check him there. Also can't check there because bishop. So this check. And then check. He can't come here, he can't be there or there, so he's forced back into the corner because the rook is guarded by the pawn and the knight up. Bishop can't interfere with any of that. Seems good. Check, king up, check. Well, let's double check even. Then he just goes there. I take that, that comes down. But then I don't have a check. Yeah. Wonder if anyone will ever find those now they know what I look like. I doubt it. I removed them from... I think I privated them from my account, but I know they've been downloaded and re-uploaded by those people that do that. So this check forces this, which makes this a double check. But someone from our community wouldn't find it, no. So check, he goes there. That check is met with that. This is a huge problem. And this isn't forcing enough. If I go there, he takes, I take, he takes. It's losing. I think it has to be this check to begin. Yeah, I'm not particularly worried. That check is met with that. I don't have enough rooks to continue that. I was thinking if check, he takes. Well, it doesn't work because that's not check anyway. That's irrelevant. So taking the queen doesn't work. So this, there. Then what are my options? Maybe. I don't see how to prevent this square. And that's the problem here. How do I do it in a forcing manner? Check, there. If I go there, he definitely goes there. So he gets double check. Now both of these pieces are hanging. And then if I brought that up, just take the knight. And then this. Okay. What does this check achieve? If that check, would he take with the rook? Or would he be okay trading queens? I guess he wins if he does that. Because I can't take back because this is back rank mate. What about this check? What does that achieve? Check. All that achieves, I think, is blocking my knight square. So check, he'll block with one of those. I mean, if he blocks with the blocking with the queen would be hard to do psychologically. Blocks with the queen. I guess not. If he blocks with the queen, sorry, if he blocks with the queen, I guess no matter what he blocks with, I would check him. So he blocks with that, blocks with that. Check, he has to take with that. I jump to there, which is a discover check on the king. Okay. He can't go there because the knight covers. He can't go there because the rook's there currently, so he has to block with that, which we then take. Which is just checkmate, right? So now is it... Does the same thing work if I go here? It doesn't. Okay. Whew. So that was 2100. You can tell when they go above 2000. Definitely takes a bit more thinking. At least for me. So we got check, check. Could have a discover check there at some point. I sack the queen. Don't really have any follow-up. Check king up. Check king up. Queen check guarded by the knight. Forces him to go there. But again, I don't see follow-up. Check takes. Because it doesn't have to take. You can go there. Or there. Can't go there, can't be here. Can't go back, has to go there. If he goes there, then what? Check, pulls him back, and then check his mate. It's not mate because of this. I checked him like this, and instead of taking with the bishop, he just went back. I guess because he didn't want to be in this situation here where the queen comes up. So the queen can't go there because the bishop immediately takes. It's good to know. Oh. I don't really see a way to proceed after that. I'm sure I win this, but yeah, maybe. It's a check he takes. That's not even a check, so it's irrelevant. Like, I could win this rook, but check takes. I go there. I guess he would probably go across to guard that. But if he did, he would get mated in one, so that doesn't work. Because then I could come here, check him, win that. Obviously, the goal here isn't to win material. So how do we turn that into a mate instead? Check takes. Okay. Check takes, check. Now that this no longer guards that. Check takes, check. Can't take that. Can't come forward, so he's forced to that square, where this is now a check. Forcing him there, and then that's mate. I think it's a queen sack. There it is. 2177. So check, king takes, check. Can't escape that way. So maybe check, king there, check. Goes back, and then we mate, yeah. So no sneaky bishops? Nothing weird going on? No. Check, check. That was a mouse slip. 31 points for that. I know what the solution was. I don't need to view it. Fuck. Okay. Well, we still saw it, so it's kind of irrelevant. I won't mark it down because the site won't count it as a success. So that's fine. We'll return to it later. So check. Oh. Check. I guess this doesn't work because queen just takes. Check, queen takes anyway. Oh. Doesn't seem great either. Ah, but if check, queen takes, check, queen has to block, checkmate. So if he takes the knight, he loses. What else does he have? Check, he can't go there, so king goes back. So check, back, takes with check, takes again, checkmate. Has to go back. It's pinned, because of course it is. Gotta think further ahead. So what? Ah, right. This would be mate if not for the queen, so it pulls the queen up, which allows, it breaks the pin here. So queen sack, rook sack, mate. And it's quite a hefty loss, right? 31. Black to move, check. Check. So check, rook comes up, check, he has to go back, check, rook comes up again, and then mate. So queen sack, push the king away, check, pull the rook back after he takes the queen, and then mate. Can he interfere with that? He has mate in 2, so I guess not. Yeah, he does. Anyway, I'm pretty sure queen sack, this takes, check, back up, and then takes. I mean, I guess I could do that first, because this is pinned. What's the difference? If check, he moves, check, has to take, check, has to go back with the rook. So here's another situation. Are both variations acceptable or no? So if check, he's forced to take. This check, he can go here. Okay, I need to think about that more. So if check and he goes there, then I have check here, forcing him. No, that's mate. So knight first is better. Because if I sack the queen, he takes this check, I go here, and I take back. I mean, he could just take that, but he can also run away. So knight first is better. Because that is mate. Mate in 1 if he goes that way. Because knight covers this square. The rook still covers here. Queen hits all 3. So now queen sack. Rook up. Check. Arabian. Nice. So white to move. Check, king there, check. King back, and then just mate. I feel like that's it, right? Check, king up, check. You can escape. So the reason you do it with the queen is because the king is stuck on this rank due to the rook. So you sack the queen as opposed to sacking the rook, because after that, when you do this, he can come towards you. Same idea as the last puzzle. Check, check, check. What? Check there, mate. The point here is you don't use the wrong knight. If I use this knight and he goes there and I do this, the queen guards the h7 square. So you have to use this knight. So mate in 2, but you could fuck that up. Both moves are not the same. Check, king takes. Don't want that. Check, king has to go over because this pawn is pinned by the rook. So check king over, check pawn up. Pawn has to take, he has no other option, and then rook down. Black to move, check, 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 check. So if this, what are his options? He can't come back, can come back. So this knight is guarding this square at the moment. So this check leads to this, which, sure, I win the queen, but it's not the point. I think this is one of those traps I was talking about earlier where if I didn't know I was looking for an Arabian here, I might do this thinking that this is the best move, when in reality, this to force this is better. So I think it's just check. Ooh, just check. Can't go here, he can't go back, so he's forced up, and then this is mate. Queen can't take because we interfere with that knight. Nice. So white's move, check, takes, check. Can go there. So I can go there and allow this. Going there allows that. No, I can't allow that because after... Oh yeah, I can because he can't escape. But it's not the most forcing move, is it? Check king there. Then what? This check he can escape. That's obviously not good because we can't follow up, we just have to run away. If he goes back, that wouldn't be mate anyway because this guards. I guess if he goes back, I can go here. No, because he can go there. Okay, so if I go there, he has no threats on me, so it doesn't have to be checks. So if I do this, what does he do? If he takes, this blocks mate. Can't go up. His only other option is to bring this up. That doesn't solve anything because then I just take and it's mate. So if I go back, he takes. Don't take back, but I check and pull him up. It's nothing more forcing. So check forces the rook down. King can't take because this rook would be putting him in check. So check, rook down. This check then forces that. And then the rook can take. That's not check. I also have this. If this, what? King has to go back. So maybe it's knight first, because if you take, this is mate in one. So check, back, which leads to the queen sack Arabian. Which obviously takes longer, so maybe that's the way to go. I feel like this is more complicated. So that doesn't work, the knight has to come in. I did that and he came across, check, he goes up. This is not check, so it's not guarded, so the king can just take. So I feel like it's knight first, queen sack, rook mate. Gotta calculate them all. Oh, there's a rook over here. So you think it's mate in one, but no. You have to look at the whole board. So queen sack, he takes, and mate. No, not mate, because the queen is here. So what do we do? If check, he takes. That still doesn't work. Sneaky putting these pieces on the other side of the board. Yeah, check, he still has to take with the rook because the knight guards that square. Check, rook takes. And this doesn't work. Bring the other rook up. Queen comes up, which we then take. And he's just up a piece in the endgame. That's 3 pawns, which is not good. So what if this? That doesn't help, does it? Check there. I don't see how that would benefit. Oh. Well, I guess this. Oh, hang on, that could work. So check, he takes, check, he has to take back, check with the rook. He has to block. Does he have to block? Yeah, because the rook's there, so the king can't go to that square. So he has to block, and then we take with mate. We sack the queen completely. Interposes with the queen, but that's irrelevant. Yes. Good song. Pity you guys can't hear it. So we got check. Can't block with anything. Can't go there or there, so he's forced to there. So it's just check and then up. Well, that was an easy one. You've been keeping track? Wow, it's actually crazy we haven't recovered. All from a mouse slip. Bastard. What did he just do? He took a rook, okay. He didn't just hang on for free. So we've got check, and that's it. And we've also got this check. So check, he blocks. He'll probably block with the bishop. So check. It doesn't matter what he blocks with. We take, he takes with the other piece, and then the rook slides in. Check, check. Check. Obviously, we can't just sack the rook immediately. Yeah, so check, blocks, check. King is forced into there. That doesn't win straight up. So check. What if he does that? Let's just assume he blocks for a minute. So check, block. Check. King can't be there or there, so he's forced to that square. And then this check forces him to take with the rook, which then leads to Arabian that way. So what if he does this? So check, he goes up. I guess I just go here, which threatens mate in one. He does block. It's kind of weird. I feel like the other way defended for longer. What is that? Knight c6 forces this. Guards both of these squares. This knight coming over puts him in check. King can't move, so it forces the rook take. And then rook there is mate. Yeah. 1800. Ah. Fair enough. Haven't really been paying too much attention. So check pulls the queen over, which allows this check. But then the king can go up because the queen won't be there anymore. So this check, if the queen takes, is mate in one. So we go knight first, the king goes over, check, queen takes, and then check. So check to pull the bishop out. Let's not check immediately though. Ah. So I was thinking I need the knight to be here so the bishop can't be there, right? But instead of dragging the bishop out, if we drag the king up, this bishop is now pinned by the rook. So check, he comes up, this bishop can't take. So this is a check, forcing him to go back. So check there, check. I guess not, because he can come out. Hang on. But if we take the bishop, this queen is guarding that square, so I can't blunder that. Maybe it is this. Not really seeing how, though. So if we take, he takes. Like, I need this knight move to be a check. And the only way I'm seeing to do that is there. So check, he comes up. Check. Yeah, there's nothing stopping him from coming out. Take, take, take doesn't work. Take going there. To pull the rook back doesn't work because the queen is there. Taking that for that. I guess that's not how it works because the rook takes. Then he just takes this. Hmm. So this has been live for an hour and 20. We've done 42 puzzles. So it took me an hour and 25 to do 100 puzzles of the Anastasias. Wonder if that's because my rating was lower or just because all of those puzzles are simpler. Or maybe I'm just bad at these puzzles. So check there. This threatens mate in one. No, not of this puzzle. I've only done 42 Arabian. I'm just saying that I did 100 Anastasias earlier, and that only took an hour and 20. So this is taking more than twice as long. So check, he takes, I go here, this threatens mate in one. But it's not forced, because if he just blocks, I'm shit out of luck, because if I take, king takes. What if instead we take, he takes, I check, he comes across. It doesn't work either. Because this knight move is never with check. This queen is a pain in the ass. Blocking the square. There's only 6 pieces here and a pawn. How many possible permutations could there be for it to stump me for as long as it has? I don't really see any serious threat. So if I did that first, if I do that and he takes, that's mate in 1. Okay. So he can't take. So if I do that, what does that give me? I can do that. You know, he does whatever he does. Check, he takes Arabian. So I've got that. What is his counterplay? Does he have anything? If I go here, what does he do, is really what I'm asking. Can't get out of the way, because the knight will be blocking the king there anyway. He's got no checks. Oh, he's got 1, but we just take. So he just takes the pawn. Ah, he covers this square. So he x-rays through my queen. So check, bishop there. This doesn't work anymore because queen guards that square. So we just trade down all the pieces and he's up 2 in the endgame. If I take, he takes. But now that the queen's not there, it's not guarding this square. So if I take, he has to take with the rook. We check, he comes back, and we take. And it's mate. That was a rough one. 23-53, apparently. Got through it though. Getting rid of that song. Check, king takes, check. King has to go back, and then that's mate. Nothing can counteract it. Rook isn't pinned. I'm in check. I think that's the first time I've been in check. He's also got... Oh, I guess he doesn't quite. We can trade off all these pieces. So what is the best option? I can't really move... I mean, obviously I can't move there. That runs into that. Well, I can't block. I can move. I can take twice. If I take with this... Well, that's not forcing if he takes back that way. I guess it is, because takes, takes. If I took that, he then forks my pieces. How could I get what I want in this position? Do I really want to pull the knight away from where it is? Obviously this check doesn't work with the queen here. Yeah, well I'm not. So how do we deal with it? This is from a game by Evotech. Evojtech. So I think what I want is I want the queen off the back rank, right? To lead to Anastasia. Arabian. Because if I'm off the back rank, I also need the queen not to be there, I guess. Ah. So this is a discover check wherever I move this knight. So what I want is I want this queen to stop guarding this square, and I need to not be in check. So it takes... Well, it's not forced. Like, I want the queen to take. but it's not forced. Because after this move, double check forcing that to there. Check. Well, no, that ends up being Anastasia's mate if I do that. Huh, interesting. Because I need the knight to be there. So that does lead to a mate eventually, but... Well, that's rough because it's guarded by four pieces. So take... Yeah. Gotta piece it all together. So take, if he takes with the knight, which is probably the smart thing to do... I'm completely missing the point here. I'm not in check by the bishop, I'm in check by the rook. So the rook hits me here and here. I can't go forward, so I can go here or here. Or block. If I block like this, does he just take with the rook anyway and sack? I don't know. Probably don't want to be blocking with the queen. Ah. So because this is a discovery, I can just put my knight here under attack by all four, none of which can take because the king is suddenly in check. King can't go here because bishop guards. King has to go there. And then this check on the king is protected by the knight that's here now. And no piece can take that. So we block. And we take. That's a 2-move checkmate, and I struggled with it for quite a while. So white to move. Check takes. It's not what we want. Check can be taken with that, so that's not great either. Can't hit that check because bishop takes. If we do that immediately, and he takes, that's mate in 1. So he can't take. He also can't go there, so king goes there. Which then we go there with check, he takes, and then we check again. Nice. 2 for 1 indeed. My throat is struggling. So 45 by my account, which means I'm probably off by some number. So saying 3 more, and I would have done 50. Quick maths, yeah. So I might do... I'll solve the one that I failed, and then I'll do 2 more. Then maybe I'll call it for today and do 50 more tomorrow. Because this one's taken way longer. I don't know if I want to go for another hour and a half. So might as well end it at an even 50. So this is one I fucked up. Still an Arabian, but I fucked it up somehow. What did I do? We've got check. Got check. Obviously we want the knight on this square. So if we do this check, king takes, and then this check, king can escape. Check, king there, check, king has to go back. And then it's just mate. So what did I do wrong last time is the question. Oh, it was the mouse slip. It was a super easy puzzle that I mouse slipped. So it's check, king there, check, king has to go back, only move, and then checkmate. Yeah. Just double check, there's no bishop shenanigan. Nice. So does that count if we refresh? I was saying I still need to do 3 more. Yeah. Yeah. Good old mouse slip. I kind of like this. So I guess as you do puzzles, it'll pull them out towards the edge at your rating. So you can see my rating here is 2400. Which makes me wonder if I need to do more of these. Because I blasted through these at a lower rating. Maybe now it'll be much harder. So I'm not sure I like that. On chess.com, you can predefine a range. Like I want every puzzle to be 1700 to 2500, and it will be that. So I don't really want to do sub 2000 Anastasias and then 2500 Arabians. I want everything at the highest level, you know? So maybe at some point in the future, I'll have to revisit that. It's going to get harder and harder, I guess, because when I do the next puzzle, it's going to start off at this level. Not sure what I think of that. So 3 more. He's not threatening anything. Except a discovered attack there, I guess. Check is just taken. This threatens Arabian. Is it enough to threaten? Yeah. So this also threatens, but it doesn't work because of the rook. So this is the only move. He doesn't have counterplay, he can go there, but we're going there anyway. Bishop can't do anything because it's on a light square. He doesn't have any checks, he doesn't have any threats. So there's no reason that we can't do a non-forcing move. Yeah. So he does this discovery on the knight, but it's a move too slow. Just mate anyway. Check takes mate. He has to take because he can't move because this covers. So I think it's just that. Baby one. One more. Check. Rook. Ah. But then if the rook's not there, the queen can take. So if check, I see the point. He can't take because that's mate in 1. So check, king across, there, he takes, we take again. He also can't take with the knight because that's mate in 1. I have to check both of those. Nice. Alright, so that was 50. Seeing this, I'm not too happy about. So I guess when I reach kind of my level, so let's say my level is 2500. I think the highest I've been on chess is 2300. So 2300, I'll start failing more, and it'll even out, and then all the puzzles will be at that level. But I guess if I know what I'm looking for, then it's just going to keep creeping up anyway, because there's only one solution. I think maybe the only solution would be to... So we start here, we work our way down, and then we do another run through everything at the higher level. Which makes me wonder if doing 100 is too many. I mean, probably not. There's no time limit, right? I can just go forever. So if I do 50 of those tomorrow, and then maybe 50 of those. Alright, I'm going to pull it for now. Hopefully we'll be back tomorrow. More puzzles.